lost Kim. I'm going to mute everybody now, and then nobody will, pop on and scare us all. Okay, let's go ahead and get started seated today. And as you come to your seat, we're going to take a moment to center, and then we'll move pretty quickly into some movement. But take a moment here to make it comfortable, shift your sitting bones, and just take a moment to notice the context that you have. You can shift and move a little bit in your seat to sense and feel, but then come to some stillness. You can let your eyes close if you'd like. Take a couple big breaths to start to tune into this present moment. Starting to find a balance of breath that's even and full. And as you allow yourself to utilize the work of the breath, start to sit a little taller as you inhale and find a little bit more rooting or grounding with your legs or whatever's touching the ground on the exhale. Inhale to sit taller and exhale to root. Now bringing hands to connect at heart center, take another moment to find an intention for yourself. We're focusing on balancing throughout this whole week, but as we come to that balanced action in our practice with our breath throughout our day, what is it that you'd like to cultivate in your heart, in your mind, maybe in your body? And now draw hands to connect at your third eye, and then bring your hands back to heart center and bow towards your heart. Take an even and full balanced breath. Then softly allow your eyes to open and release your hands down. And as you walk your hands out to your knees and start just a gentle movement here in a cat and cow. Again, we're not going to stay here super long. Just start to find that shift and that movement, that evenness with that movement with your breath. Then sitting tall, switch the cross of your legs, and we're going to take that same movement on the other side. Just a couple movements here, forward and back, cat and cow. And now back into center here. You can stay sitting on something with your hips, or you can come all the way down onto the floor with your hips if you want. You're going to take feet out in front of you and walk your feet out wider than your mat, and hands come behind you so that you can rest on your hands a little bit, push, and lift up through the heart space. And then just take a couple movements here side to side with your knees, coming to this windshield wiper action. And then come back into center and sitting tall. We're now going to take our figure four here. So walk your feet out as far as is comfortable for you to be able to cross right ankle over your left knee. Give both feet a flex, and you might take hands behind you to sit tall. You might hold on around the back side of your left thigh. Find where it feels the best to find an even longer spine, and then maybe work your foot a little closer to you. But if you work your foot closer and you start to round back through your spine, maybe walk it away a little bit. Take a big breath. And now bring hands behind you if you're holding on around the backside of your thigh. And from here, we're gonna do a little bit of rocking side to side. As you rock side to side, keep both feet active to keep your ankles and your knees safe. And then as you come back up to center, one more time, sit tall. And again, you can hold on wherever you need to draw legs in as close as is comfortable. And then release your right foot down and cross left ankle over the right knee. And again, hold on where you need to. You can always have hands behind or clasp around the back side of your right thigh, but sit tall and maybe work your foot in a little closer. But again, if that makes your low back round or any part of your back round, then walk your foot back out. Sit tall, take a big breath. Flex both feet. And then hands come behind, and we're gonna lean back a little bit so that we can rock legs side to side. Windshield wipering action with the figure four sometimes helps to get into different parts of the hips, the glutes, really sense what it is that's being targeted for you. And then as you come back into center now, set both feet on the ground, and we'll take soles of feet together, knees opening, and you're welcome to add whatever propping you need to make this more comfortable. But as you engage your feet, think of inching the pinky toe edges a little closer together. You might hold on to toes, shins, or again, fingertips behind you. Keep feet engaged and then reach out to the sides through your quad muscles, through your thighs. Take one more big breath here and find where you can start to tilt the belly a little forward. And now we're coming onto our hands and knees. So go ahead and set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And as you find that tabletop position for yourself, pause and root down strongly through palms and fingertips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. And then as you inhale and reach back with your right leg, turn open with your hip, bend your knee, press your heel toward the left side. Take one more big breath here, reaching through the thigh, engage the low belly. And then you're crossing right knee behind your left, and we'll take that extra little cross-legged version of child's pose here. So work hips back toward your heels, hands work forward and maybe out to the right side. But realize that this can be as far back with your hips as you need. So take a full, big, deep breath. And then gently rise back up to hands and knees, reset yourself. And then strengthen, press through your palms, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Lift your head to the back plane of your body. And then lengthen back with your left leg. Turn open with your hip, bend your knee, and press your heel toward the right side. Reaching through your thigh, engage the belly. Deep breath. Then setting left knee behind your right, we'll come to that second side of the cross-legged version of child's pose. Working hips back towards your heels. Walk hands forward. Maybe out to the left. Take a big breath. And now back into center and shift forward onto hands and knees. And from that place, as you set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, find that strong press, tuck toes under, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose, and then take a moment to slowly pedal out. Checking in with what's there for you. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips, press back on hips, lift shoulders and elbows, and rise all the way up to stand. And then from your standing position, feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Take hands behind your back to clasp. Press palms together as you lift up and open through the shoulders. Lift up with collarbones. Lengthen the back of your neck. Take a deep breath. And now staying with hands clasped, we're stepping right foot back into our lunge. And as you come into this lunge, center with your hips and lift up even more through your front. Full big breath. And now engaging through the low belly and the rib cage, take another big breath, lift your heart. And then inhale, step forward. Exhale, step the left foot back. Center with your hips and lift up with your heart. Full breath. Core is engaging. Inhale, step forward. And now exhale, bending your knees, fold over your legs, hands stay clasped here if you would like, or you can release your hands. But shoulder blades are engaging. Take another full breath with the back of your neck get long. And now releasing hands down to your blocks or the floor. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. And now planting fingertips, you're stepping left foot back in, or right foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel. So your foot's parallel to the back of your mat. You're opening your left knee up towards your pinky toe edge. Keep that and rise all the way up to your warrior two. As you come up to your warrior two, again, we're not going to stay for a super long time, but settle in, open up, lift up, take a full breath. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Tuck your back toes, set your knee down, work your hands to the inside. Heel toe your front foot out to the left with your toes and your knee in the same angle. And now from this place, lift up with the front part of your foot. So you're on the pivot point of your heel, and now open up with your knee, opening it up to the left as much as your body is ready for, but really noticing in particular that flex of your foot to keep your ankle and knee steady. Full big breath. Then heel toe your foot back in, and we're coming onto a plank pose. And your plank pose, go ahead and step the left foot back, and you can be on knees here if you want to, or you can have knees lifted, your choice. But turning elbow pits forward, finding that rotation of upper arm bones and push, and then draw your front ribs forward, your collarbones forward, your head to the back plane of your body. Take a big deep breath and tone your core. Lift through your belly and your ribs. One more full breath. Exhale, find downward facing dog pose. Take a deep inhale and exhale, evenly in and out of your nose. And now walk your way forward, take as many steps as you need to get there. Coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat, take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Planting fingertips, you're stepping left foot back this time into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel, your front knee is opening toward the right side and bending. And then rise all the way up to your warrior two. Take a big full deep breath here. As you settle in a little more, lift your ribs, your heart, your chest. Full deep inhale, long full exhale. Next exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. You're tucking your back toes and setting your back knee on the ground. Now walk hands to the inside and heel toe your front foot out to the right, toes and knee in the same direction. And then as you lift the front part of your heel, think of a big flex, toes drawing back towards your knee. Start to pivot and on the heel and open up through the knee, open up through the hip. From this place, longer through your spine, take another deep breath. And then foot back into center. And we'll step back again into a plank pose. And again, it can be on the knees or it can be lifting the knees. But extend forward through your heart, your ribs, your collarbones. Lift your head. You have that rotation of upper arm bones. And now think of pushing with your hands, pushing with toes or knees to allow your back body a little elevation, to allow a little engagement through the core. Then exhale, downward facing dog pose, big breath. And now knees come down to the ground, hips to heels. Take a child's pose, arms reaching back behind you, your head gets to settle, full breath. Good, so now one more set of core exercises. We're gonna take our side plank. So this is a little bit of a balance. It's considered an arm balance. So anytime you balance on your hands, you have your choice. You can be with a knee on the ground in your side plank. You can be with top foot forward in your side plank, or you can be with both legs extended in your side plank. So I'm going to give you those options. So now from hands and knees, you can step your feet back into a plank for a moment and notice. And you might be saying here, nope, full plank is not in my practice today, and that's okay. So now you can set the knee down, or you can turn left foot to the side and either stagger your right foot with your left or step it forward, okay? So all those options. Now, left hand, push into the ground and put your shoulder blade on your back. Maybe stretch up with your top arm, but even more so, press everything down that's on the ground to lift your ribs higher, your hips higher. Deep breath. Tone through your low belly and your rib cage. One more breath. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Take a moment to settle back into a child's pose. Turn your palms up, and you can stay a little lifted here on the elbows, or you can extend your arms. And now second side. Again, hands and knees, and then step back to your plank, and you decide as you turn to face the left side, you're balancing on the side of your right foot or maybe on your knee. Maybe step your left foot forward toward the front of your mat as you turn to the left, and then push everything down so your hips lift, your ribs lift, shoulder blades engage, maybe stretch up. Deep, full breath. One more deep breath right here. And exhale, both hands come down, settle back onto your hands and knees, and even more so, we're gonna sit all the way back now. And down to sitting bones, and then we'll take, yes we will, one more stretch through the glutes, through the hip. Some of it'll even be maybe the outside edge of your leg for you. So we'll take this deer pose or the box sitting if you have done some knee physical therapy before. So now right hip up against the right side of your mat, and then right shin parallel to the front of your mat. Left knee directly out to the left, shin parallel with the left side of your mat. And now as you engage both feet to create ankle and knee stability, lift up tall and turn your torso more towards your right thigh. And then from that place, you get to fold over your right thigh as far as is right for you. Take a big, deep breath. You can always have elbows on props here. Take some big breaths, and even as you keep your feet a little active to preserve the ankles and the knees, notice where it is you can let your breath help you soften. Take 2 more big breaths right here. And now, rising back up to a tall spine, we're going to take one more stretching variation from this side. So walk your right hand back a little ways behind your hip to a comfortable place. Keep feet engaged. Lift your ribs, your chest, and heart. Even think of this as a tiny bit of a back bend. And then your left hand gets to come to your left hip and roll it a little forward, getting a little bit more into maybe the front part of the hip, maybe that pocket muscle, the TFL. Take a big, deep breath. Push with your hand that you're resting on. Think of rising up out of your shoulders, lifting your collarbones. Then inhale back up to center, and we'll switch sides. Coming over to the left side of your mat. Left thigh is parallel to the edge. Left shin approximately parallel with the front of your mat. Right knee out to the right side. And again, shin parallel to the side of your mat. Then turn your torso a little more toward the front, towards your left thigh. Lift your chest and begin to work your way over your thigh, over your front leg to settle maybe onto props, maybe on the floor. You can always set your head down on something here if you'd like. Keep coming back to that flex of your feet. Creating that action helps to create stability. That stability is key for so many things that we do. Making sure that we have a safety and strength to be able to be in a position without causing any unnecessary harm. Full big breath. And then gently push yourself back upright with your torso. And we're going to walk the left hand back a little ways behind your hip and even diagonally a little bit. And then lift up through the chest. Push with your left hand so you have that stability through the shoulder. And then the right hand helps you to rotate your hip a little more forward. Take a full, big, deep breath. And then gently rise back up. And we'll bring both feet around. And we're going to lay all the way down onto our backs. So make sure that props are handy. And as you come to rest, take a moment for a little movement. So it could be knees drawing in and hugging in, or you could do some side-to-side movement, rocking, or some circles. So take a moment for whatever movement feels the best in your body and might help you to release a little bit more of whatever you're holding on to tension-wise. And then just like we did at the beginning, because it's such a great way to release through the nervous system, We're gonna take our reclined version of our windshield wipers. So walk your feet out wide and then gently drop knees side to side. And as you take knees side to side, go slowly enough so that you can sense whatever stretch is there, whatever tension might be present. And then as you come back up to center, you're gonna pick whatever prop you have that you would like to put your hips up onto. And we're gonna turn this into a little bit more of a glute stretch and work. So I like to use the big blue block. However, if you have a stack of books or a more firm pillow or whatever you have, you're gonna set your hips up a little ways onto your prop. So inhale, lift up, hips up, and then set. Prop underneath, let your hips come down to rest. So now you're gonna take right ankle crossing over your left knee. And so this is our figure 4 pose with a little lift to our hips. And then extend your left leg all the way out. The key here is not to collapse the knee. That's pretty important. So press through the heel a little bit. And then we're gonna do a little bit of rocking specifically over to the right side so that you're rocking onto the right glute, the right hip. And as you take that rocking, you get to rock and pause a couple of times. And if you find a spot that's particularly tense, you might stay there for a couple of breaths. One of the things I like to do is reset it so I'm actually on the corner a little bit of whatever I'm using. So you can do that if you want, or you can just keep rocking to the side a couple more times. And then come back up to center, both feet on the ground. And then reset with your left ankle over your right knee, flex your foot. And then as you extend your leg out, keep your feet flexed, and especially the right one is helping your right knee not to collapse. And then start those rocks. You're rocking so that you're coming over onto the left glute, the left hip. So you get to rock over and pause, rock over and pause. And again, if you find some tension there, then it's great sometimes to pause. In that tension, take some breaths and notice what you might be able to release. Or you can keep rocking. And again, sometimes being on the edge of something to rock over kind of hits some points in the muscle that you might not be able to get to otherwise. And then come on back into center, set your feet, lift your hips and take your prop out from underneath. And from here, drop knees in together to touch, hands resting at hips or relaxing by your sides. With eyes closed, begin to tune into what would feel good for you to rest. Sometimes keeping knees bent and touching is a great place to be. Or work your way into whatever variation of Shavasana feels good in your body today. Begin to take a deeper breath. And add some gentle movement into fingers and toes. And slowly, gently bend your knees and make your way over to whichever side feels best. And then slowly press yourself back up to your seat. Bring hands to connect at heart center, and with eyes closed, take a full breath. Have a very peaceful, beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.